Hey guys, I'm Justin with Legato Financial Group. Our firm is passionate about helping educate consumers, which is why we're powering the Gaining Interest podcast. The podcast of quick conversations with industry experts on topics that you want to know about, from sports to dining to healthcare and automotive, and really everything in between. It's hosted by one of the greatest local personalities that I've met, that's John Ramsey.
I'll tell you why I love this podcast, because it's all about community. We used to call it water cooler talk, and that no longer exists. But if it's interesting to you, it's interesting to us. We encourage you to tell your friends. As Justin mentioned, we're going to talk about everything under the sun. We will be gaining interest, and we appreciate you watching. Once again, welcome to Gaining Interest, a show that is all about things that are interesting. And whether it be a New Year's resolution, maybe you're getting ready for a vacation, it's always a great time for a happier, healthier, perhaps thinner you. With me now is Kate Stiebling-Davis, and she works with Orangetheory. In fact, she's a fitness coach for Orangetheory, and we'll talk about all of that. First of all, Kate, welcome in. Thanks for taking time.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you ran here, right? About 13 miles?
Oh, yeah, sure. No problem.
I don't think it would be a problem for you. You know, we are bombarded every day with all of this fitness information and weight loss and different drugs, different methods, training, all of that. You are an expert. So I'm going to establish you as that, if you would, please. Give me a little bit of your resume.
So we've been with Orangetheory for close to 10 years. Our first studio opened in May in 2014. So I've been coaching at Orangetheory since then. And prior to that, I was just really interested in staying fit. And so I would do some mini marathons and do some triathlons and just kind of bounced around different boot camps and fitness. So yeah.
Sure, you've got a varied background. Obviously passionate about fitness. You look the part, and we've been chatting a little bit. You certainly are knowledgeable. So Orangetheory, for those who aren't familiar, it's a different kind of method, very effective, and believe it or not, folks, it's enjoyable. So tell everyone a little bit about Orangetheory and how it works.
Yeah, so we have a 60-minute workout, and it's science-backed, technology-tracked, we like to say. So technology-tracked, where everyone wears a heart rate monitor, so we can coach folks in and out of heart rate zones. And so that way you're not overtraining or undertraining, right? So we're doing intervals on the treadmill. We're doing weightlifting on the weight floor. We've got TRX, and we've got those water rowers. So those are going to really make that impact on your body, but in a low impact way. So make a difference on your body in that way.
So, Kate, people who are watching now, a lot of different levels as far as on this fitness journey.
Yep.
Some are beginners,
Yep.
Some are more advanced and polished at this. So how do you handle that at Orangetheory with your classes? How do you handle that?
Yeah, so I love this because Orangetheory can really meet you where you are. Any fitness level, we can have, professional athletes right next to folks that are super new to fitness or haven't worked out in, years and years, right? So on the treadmill, you get to pick your speed. We just coach folks to a certain effort level. So we like to relate it to just like a 5 out of 10 effort level or an 8 out of 10 effort level and so on. So your effort level is going to maybe be a little bit different than mine. And our effort levels are going to be the same rather, but our speeds or our inclines might be a little bit different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
So then on the weight floor, if you're super new to fitness, then we're going to pick up some lighter weights and gradually build your strength that way. If you are kind of seasoned athlete, then you might have a little bit more, an idea under, of where you want to start in terms of picking up a weight. You might have already some experience with that. And so we've got a big variety.
So for folks who are just now getting started in their fitness journey, perhaps it was a New Year's resolution, or as I mentioned, maybe a special event's coming up, they want to lose a little weight, or they just want to feel better.
Right.
Tell them about what attracts folks to Orangetheory and that methodology. I understand it's kind of like interval training, very varied, which I think is good, keeps you from getting bored. Mm-hmm. But this whole endorphin release and why you recommend it, how does it keep you so fit? Look at you, you look great. So to me, what is the attraction, I guess is what I'm getting to here.
Yeah, so I think the intervals, they're not new, right? They've been around for, I don't know, for years and years, but the way that we kind of build them into the workout, it feels really doable. So we might have we call our efforts base, push, and all out. So we might have a push effort that's like an 8 out of 10, where folks are either jogging, running, or power walking. We also have a bike, we have a strider that you could choose from. And so we're asking folks to pick a pace that they feel like, okay, I'm working, I'm exercising, my breath is changing, and we kind of talk to people about how they're going to feel different during those 8 out of 10 efforts, or those push efforts, and then we're going to recover a little bit at a base pace. So, or we'll have a walking recovery, right? So we'll kind of go from a push, a base, maybe back to a push, do an all out, have a walking recovery. So they're short efforts, like 1 minute, 2 minute. It changes every day. So that's kind of cool. Like, you're not going to come into the same thing every day.
Right.
So that changes, makes it different. The variety is good. We like to encourage everyone, say after an all out, hey, give your neighbor a little fist bump or give them a thumbs up. And so everyone's like, ooh, yeah, we got this, we can
camaraderie
do
is a
the
big
next
part of it,
thing.
yeah.
Yes.
Being in it together.
Yeah. And people, in the past 10 years, I can't tell you how many people have said, this is the workout that I've actually stuck with. I've tried so many things, but this one is the one that I'll keep coming back to.
What a
That
compliment.
it makes you feel so good. People are, doing a mini marathon, or they're entering a 5K, and they'll say, I never thought I could ever do that, or I never thought I could run. So as a coach, it just it gets you right there in your heart, as far as, you're helping people on a daily basis just improve their fitness, but also their mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know just how much, working out or feeling good in your body helps that mental attitude.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I have a theory, an orange theory. Okay, we'll say
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay, I have a theory. So tell me if you find this to be true. I find that a lot of people originally, and this is good motivation, they say, I want to lose a little weight, I want to look better. But when they get into a place like Orangetheory and they feel the endorphins, the after effects of exercise, and their body feeling more alive and able to breathe, and you have this uplift of energy, then they say, okay, now I'm in this for a different reason, because I'm kind of addicted to the feeling. It's somewhat of a high to actually feel fit, or to sweat, or to use your body as it's meant to be used.
That's right.
Okay, do you find that to be true?
Well, 100%. We've got people in there that are lifting that have never lifted before. They're seeing muscle definition. They're, in a way, becoming the best version of themselves. And who doesn't want to walk around feeling like, I'm the best version of me? Then you're going to be able to make a bigger impact and be happier at home, because you feel good in your body. You feel like you have done something hard today, and that just kind of propels you on to the next hard thing, right? Whether that's in the gym or out of the gym, I got to make a hard decision, or I've got to have a hard conversation, or, right, whatever comes at you. I think just experiencing those hard moments in class, in the studio, just, I don't know, gives you that confidence that.
Kate, when you opened up, you mentioned the fact that, yes, technology is involved at Orangetheory. What do you think about some of the technology that's available now? At first, I think it began with heart rate monitors, but now it's gone much deeper than that. To me, if it motivates someone, why not? And yes, it can medically have benefits, right? So talk a little bit about what you see as far as technology and what you recommend, perhaps.
Well, I really do like wearing that heart rate monitor, even if I'm not doing a workout at Orangetheory. So you can use our heart rate monitors, going for a jog or a walk or a row, like you were talking about before in your gym. And then I like to be able to just track also kind of the weights that I picked up from workout to workout. So if I'm really looking to improve, say, my deadlift and increase my weight, I want to be able to track that on like an app that I can remember the workout and then put in the reps that I did and so I've got an app for that. It's Train Heroic is one that I was introduced to by my PT. So my physical therapist kind of helped me along the way. But the Orangetheory app also will track, we don't really track our weight choices at Orangetheory necessarily, but that app helps you see your watts on the rower. It'll capture miles on the treadmill and then your heart rate variability, or your heart rate intensities rather. So I do like that. But I'm also kind of, I love the aspect of those sleep trackers like the Nora Ring and there's
Because that's
some
so
other.
important.
I like knowing, when did I get that deep sleep? What's my, HRV balance? What's my recovery balance look like? And so when I go into the gym, in a way, what to expect. If I really didn't sleep that great, then I can kind of factor that into my workouts.
You're right.
Or
Sleep
something.
is so important. That's something I wanted to talk to you about recovery. For folks who are just getting started, perhaps they're going, okay, I know the workout's great. I know I need to do that. How often should I do that? Because I do think, to me, the repair,
Yep.
the recovery is just as important as the workout, if
100%.
not more so. So how often do you recommend?
Well, I like to do Orangetheory like 3 or 4 days a week. I know there's a lot of people out there, they love it almost every day. What I encourage folks to do, though, would be Orangetheory workout the next day, maybe take a lighter exercise approach. Maybe do a swim or do a light jog or a walk, something that isn't super intense so that you can kind of come and tackle Orangetheory and, hit those intervals the way you want to. But I think kind of day after day after day can make an impact on you that could lead to some injury depending on just how you push it. It also could leave you feeling a little tired or a little too hungry.
Yeah,
So
good point.
if you really hit them hard every day, day in and day out, I think that could kind of lead you down the road a little bit of maybe too much. So
We've talked about or touched upon a few things that can really expedite the process of feeling better, looking better, all the above. I want to talk to you a little bit about shortcuts. Without me mentioning any brand names, there are a lot of weight loss drugs that weren't intended to be weight loss drugs originally. I think they were based on insulin and how you use insulin. But with that, so you know what I'm talking about here.
yeah.
I understand people looking for shortcuts, but I don't know if there's been a large enough test study on some of these drugs to know exactly what will be the long-term effects. What are your feelings about it? I've heard some people say, hey, everything I'm seeing says it's good. And if it helps you feel better about yourself and lose weight and lower blood pressure, which I've heard, then you should do. What are your thoughts?
I'm a little tentative, just because seems very new. I definitely would, if you're at risk for like a metabolic disease, maybe that's an approach you want to take. But from what I've read, it sounds like it's something that you're going to have to take long term. And I just don't know, like, what are the ultimate outcomes
Maybe
of that.
proceed with caution.
I would definitely be talking to your doctor for that one. But, I've talked to a lot of folks at Orangetheory, and, we're really going with the approach of let's see if we can either, pick up heavier weights to increase our muscle mass. Can we increase more protein to increase muscle mass? And maybe worry a little less about the total body fat that you have. So I think, in my mind, women have been taught for a long, long time to really be cautious and careful about your body fat, which I'm not saying is necessarily a bad thing, but women in general have been less concerned about increasing muscle mass. So I'd like to see more women really embrace picking up weights, introduce more protein to your diet, and then see what happens.
I like what you're saying because I've told people, and I believe this to be true, is, muscle is denser, it's smaller, and plus it requires calories to exist, whereas fat
Right.
does not burn calories. So if you just had a couple of pounds of muscle, you'd be amazed about how much more you can actually eat, not worry about it, because it needs calories to exist.
Right.
So I like that we agree there. Here's something I want to chat with you about, because no one's perfect. Everyone needs motivation. And for those, even myself, I think I love fitness. I think so, but there are days when I go, okay, this is going to be tough. And for those who are just getting started, how can they motivate themselves? How can you help me motivate myself as far as those days when you go, I just don't know if I can do this?
Right.
How do you do it?
Well, sometimes I have to, in a way, trick myself. I don't know if you do this.
No, but this sounds
just me.
good. I'm ready. I'm all about the
So
tricks.
I decide, okay, I'm just going to show up, right? Or I'm just going to, like, I swim on some of my off days. So some days I get in there and I'm like, I really don't want to swim. Okay, well, Kate, let's make yourself just get in there and let's just swim for 10 minutes.
Let's just get a floaty and forget about it.
Let's just get wet and then see what happens.
and
Usually that tricks me. Well, it tricks me, but I know my tricks by now. But I'd say you got to get in the water, and if you just swim 10 minutes, okay, cool. Then just get out if you still want to get out. Usually I'll swim, a little longer than 10 minutes. But I think with Orange Theory, it's so nice because I know I don't have to think about it, right? I just show up. So I've signed up for the class. I have committed myself to that time slot, right? Because I have to sign up ahead of time. And then I don't have to think about it. I'm just going to, move a little bit. Initially, we just do that little warm up. And usually that gets people kind of in there. And you've got the music and you've got the coach. So that's the coach's job, right? Help keep you motivated when you're starting to feel tired, or when you walk in and you're like, man, I'm just not feeling it today, coach. Okay, well, let's see where we're at, in this first interval, and then we'll play it by ear.
I like what you said originally, too. A lot of it is just showing up, because I have actually, when you mentioned that, I thought I've had some better workouts when I didn't think I would, because I showed up and all of a sudden it started kicking in a little bit. And then other times I thought I was motivated and didn't do so well. So everyone's human. It's okay. Diet. You talked about increasing protein. There seems to be a movement. You tell me.
Yeah.
There's more flexibility now. It seems to me like I hear people, I'm a believer in 70% good, 30% bad. I try to stay on my day, but there's times when, hey, if someone's having birthday cake, I'm jumping in.
Right.
If I can have a beer, I'm good with that, as long as I don't get too far over into that bad zone. What are your theories on diet? How many times a day should you eat? And name maybe a couple of go-to foods that you really like.
Yeah, so I lately have been really trying to coach people and myself on trying to increase that protein, right? So I want to eat for strength. I want to eat so that, I'm feeling good for that next workout. So I'm focusing lately on maybe about 30 grams of protein per meal. So I do track it. I don't have to track it all the time. And once you kind of get an idea of what that number looks like on your plate, then you're not going to have to keep tracking it forever. But I mean, I think if it feels natural to you to eat 3 meals a day and a snack, then do it. But if you are more inclined to not eat until a little bit later in the day, then I don't think you have to fight, and make yourself eat or make yourself not eat, right? So lately I've been kind of pushing the protein a little bit more, and I'll throw in like a protein shake. So eat those, lean. For me, I eat lean meats, some veggies. I'll definitely eat, like sweet potatoes or rice, oatmeal. I'm not like against carbs or anything like that. I think a good balance is nice. That way you're not maybe craving the carbs because you eliminated them. Seems like they get a bad rap lately.
Yes. When I think about foods, and when people will ask and we'll start having this discussion, I say, here's what I think are the bad guys, the real poisons are anything refined sugar, refined flour. If you can stay away from the pretzels, the cereals, the pizza crust, these kind of things, if you can do that, because they say refined and processed.
Yeah.
And I know it's more complex than this, but to me, okay, when you eat those, they don't have to break down to convert to fat. The conversion is much easier because they are refined. It's already pretty close. It can go straight to fat. If you have more fibrous foods, vegetables, you mentioned sweet potatoes, which are, of course, very nutritionally dense too, then you're going to be okay. But when you start eating all the, some people like that crunchy crunch or a little cookie here and there, and that sugar and flour, is that the true enemy?
Well, I just think that they're so easy to eat and easy to pack on the calories, and then your taste buds, like, you want more, right? So if I get used to eating, I don't know, Oreo cookies or something like that every night, then that's the thing that my body wants over and over again. So I'm trying to stay away from like those kind of addictive foods, right? So the pretzels, I want to snack on those, and before you know it, I've eaten half the bag.
I hear you.
Right?
I don't. Isn't that what happens? And then I'm looking at this thing. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What
How
is
many
a
calories?
serving? It's one pretzel. I've
Four
had about,
pretzels.
Yeah, and I've had about 300 here. So what's the
Exactly.
problem?
Yeah.
All right. I want to get back to something here that we've kind of touched upon, but I want to talk about people who, once again, just have begun their fitness journey, but they're a little intimidated about going into an Orangetheory, and they go, I don't know what I'm doing here. I feel lost, and no one likes to feel like they're ignorant of what their surroundings and what's going on.
Sure.
So what would you tell them? Someone who wants to see you, Kate, how would you say, hey, we'll acclimate you? How do you do that?
Well, I think the first time is and can be quite overwhelming. I love the Orangetheory, and I love kind of their slick advertising, right? But sometimes it can feel intimidating, right? It's so aspirational. You see all of the athletes on their commercials or in their ads they look super fit already, and you think, well, I don't belong there because I need to get fit before I go to Orangetheory, and that's certainly not true. That first class is and can, like I said, can be a little overwhelming. The music's going. The coach is on the mic. There's a lot of instruction going on, but the coach is super attentive to that newcomer, checking in with them over and over, making sure that they're feeling, comfortable as comfortable can be. Once you get like 2, 3, 4, 5 classes under your belt, it starts to become a lot more familiar. So, I'm not going to lie. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I will tell them, I say a lot.
Sure.
Over the mic. You will hear me talking for 60 minutes. But I try to go over to them off the mic.
And you'll
check
come to love it.
in on
Yeah,
them.
you'll come to love
and
it.
they do. It is a little bit of a transition from, say, working out on your own by yourself with your headphones on, or, just walking outside. All of those things are great. But the motivation, the consistency, the camaraderie, the accountability, those are all the things that you get with Orangetheory that you may not get just deciding to work out by yourself.
I need your help on something, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks can relate. Is sitting at a desk, from what I understand, sitting at a desk in front of a computer screen, sitting is the new smoking. They say it's horrible for your body. You're meant to be upright. You're meant to be moving. So give me a takeaway. What can folks do who do have desk jobs and they want to do something? I know it's one thing to say, well, get up and move a little bit. Is there anything you suggest?
If people can get up maybe every 30 to 45 minutes and do maybe a little, like a few little stretches where they can, I call it a couch stretch, or you could just call it a quad stretch, where you're kind of getting that hip flexor, you're getting that quad involved. Maybe do like a little Taylor stretch where you're cross-legged, kind of getting into the hip a little bit. Do some chest openers. I'm a fan of the foam roller. I don't know if you've used the foam roller much. Just trying to get those muscles so that, they're not just your glutes. So your glute muscles as you're sitting are just kind of turned off, right? And then when you get up and you walk around, okay, now you're required to work. So if you're going from just a seated position and then you're going and working out like straight from that office job, we could start to see some issues happening, right? Because you're kind of going from one extreme to the other. So I'd try to encourage people to do a little bit of walking around, stretching. Maybe they can get up every 30 minutes to an hour.
Kate, I'm curious about, or actually I think we need to discuss a little bit more, the positive side of this. You've seen people's lives change. I mean, literally, not just the way they appear, but the way they feel and the way they approach life and their outlook. Talk a little bit about that, because that's real. I think there are times when people think, oh, I can't stand going to the gym, it's drudgery. Do something you enjoy, and it may be Orangetheory, and feel the effects. Talk a little bit about maybe some of the success stories you've witnessed.
Oh, wow. So we first started, like I said, in 2014. And one of the best success stories is actually my mom. So my mom, I know, right? My mom had been, a walker, doing some fitness in that way, walking with a buddy, but hadn't really had a good routine. And so she started when we opened. And for 10 years, she has been coming to Orangetheory like 3 days a week. She's gotten more than 1,500 classes under her belt. And this is my mom. She's 73. 73 years old. She's on that bike. She lifts the weights. She's on that rower. She recently got a PR, so her personal record in terms of like her distance or her rowing. And so I'm super proud of her.
Yeah.
For just,
Shout out to Mom.
I know, right?
And your mom sounds like she was already probably much like you, and probably why you have it. It's in your DNA. A little bit fitness minded. But for those who maybe are not fitness minded, maybe they smoke, maybe they haven't lifted or had any physical activity in years, tell them this can be reversed. You will be amazed at the changes you can make. The body's a wonderful, amazing. To me, I have just seen so many positive benefits from friends, from myself, that people who had given up don't, right?
Right.
Tell them, get in there,
so
right?
I
Jump
love,
in.
so the aspect of like the interval training, it helps you, like we were talking about earlier, like work hard and then you get a little recovery. Work hard, get a little recovery. And in that way, you're really pushing the system to take care of some of those internal mechanisms, like your metabolic system. So if you kind of have a tendency, or your doctor has warned you that we're moving towards pre-diabetes, right? The intervals are almost like this magic button, or this little magic thing that happens inside of you where you can actually reverse this metabolic disease or pre-diabetes. So in that way, I'm just like amazed at the difference that just those intervals can make, right? And now when we add lifting weights, we're talking about reducing the chances of muscle loss. We know that people lose muscle starting at the age of 30, right? We can increase your bone density. Another older woman has come, she's been coming to Orangetheory for years, and she said, Kate, I went to the doctor and he told me my bone density is better than it was, 3 years ago. So just those little wins for people, just, I don't know, make the biggest difference. But in those ways, I just think that you may not see what's happening. It may not be like a huge visible difference, but what the inside of your body is changing and becoming healthier.
Yeah, it's not all about the scale.
Right.
Yes.
And your health span improves. So not just do we want to live longer, right? Medical science has us living quite a long time, but are we going to be happy? Are we going to be able to move, squat down, pick up your grandkids if you want to?
Right.
All those things are functional. So we want to be able to keep pushing the needle there as far as our health span. I want to be independent. I want to be independent
I want to
for as
live
long
an
as
abundant
possible.
life. Yes.
Exactly. I want to
Yes.
go on a walk or a hike when I want to, pick up the groceries, climb the stairs.
Kate, You've been fabulous. Your passion and affinity for fitness is contagious. So for folks who are watching now, they're saying, I watched Gaining Interest. I saw Kate in action. So they want to be coached by you. How do they do that? How do they tell them about where you're located?
Okay.
How can they get in touch? How can they join? All of that.
Well, we have 5 locations in the Louisville area. Our newest location is in Clarksville, Indiana, off Veterans Parkway. We have a Highlands location off Baxter Avenue, St. Matthews off Sears Avenue, Middletown near the Gene Snyder, and then we have one in the Paddock Shops.
Which one do you work out of?
So right now I'm at St. Matthews,
Okay.
but I'm also at Highlands and I'm at Middletown. So I'm still coaching like 4 days a week.
My goodness.
I know.
Well, thanks for taking
It's
the time
fun.
to come see us. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thanks.
And you said when people do well at Orangetheory, that you give them a little thumbs up. So I'm giving you a thumbs up,
Okay.
giving you a little fist bump.
That's right.
Way to go, Kate. Way to go.
Thank you.
And once again, Orangetheory Fitness.
Yeah.
Kate, you're fabulous. Okay, it is Gaining Interest, powered by Legato Financial Group. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, get out to Orangetheory and feel the benefits of fitness. We'll see you next time.